Alright, we're back with OSG's Napoleon Invades Spain, playing the La Coruna scenario. Small one, bite-sized, to get familiar with the rules again. Bottom line, we have the British right now trying to evacuate out of the La Coruna harbor. The Royal Navy is here. And Soult, if I'm pronouncing it right, is here. And with the French, they are trying to prevent this. They've been chasing the British army across Spain here, and this is their last chance to destroy it. And then last turn, the French did their initial attack, again moving here to pin these units, but focusing on attacking the weak Bentwick unit that was just here by itself. And they succeeded in pushing him back. I did have a little tweak if you listen to the video. I had a stacking limit problem here. Soult has to stay here for a number of reasons, so I kind of rearranged things. Most of which, too, he's got to keep his units in command. If he moves here and advances 1, 2, 3, 4, these units are out of command, so he's not going to advance, and that solves the problem of having 3 artillery units here. If Soult left, he would exceed the stacking limit. So, a little tweaking, advanced 1 infantry and 1 cavalry, which you're allowed to do. The other problem is here, these units set up here, they're all in the same division. So this is kind of a gray area, there's no leader. Rules say that when units start overstacked, you have to move to reduce that, but now they're pinned with this zone of control, so I'm just going to run the attack here, see what happens. So just a few ideas, the thoughts going through my mind. I was tempted to move this guy over and get a 1-to-1 here. But the problem even with a 1-to-1 is you can roll an AR2. The problem is these are 15. They're in a town, so they're 1.5 strength. So that's effectively 15. So these guys come over, they get a 1-to-1. Maybe you win, maybe you don't. Maybe you get an AR2. But then the other problem is potentially you don't have a good line for next turn when these units come in, and you run the risk. I think the killer thing in this game is getting an attack where you can get the defenders surrounded by zones of control. So at this point, that's the primary goal here. So these units are not going to pull over and assist, because I don't know if we'd have a solid line anymore. So these units have to attack by themselves, and the odds are either this or this, and that's the other problem. This is a great position, and if there was an AR, I could move more up here, and I could then continue to protect that. But if there's an AR2, then the French can surround these units in zones of control. So again, because of that eventuality, I don't think I have any choice but to make this unit fall back. And then that would cover, AR would go here, or even if they won, they would just stay here, and we'd have a solid line, no chance of the French surrounding anybody. And then the other problem is screening this flank. This light cavalry unit is threatening. This unit, there's a heavy cav here that could make some progress, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's some looking at this, I think I need to put somebody here and somebody here to delay the cavalry. I don't think the infantry have the speed. 1, 2, 3, maybe they could hit here, so that's a problem. This only can be attacked by the cavalry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, by 1 cavalry. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I just need to screen here. So with all that being said, just wanted to give you an idea of what's going on here. The British move is kind of relatively straightforward now. There's no bombardment either, so there's no advantage in keeping the artillery because of the rain. There's no advantage in keeping the artillery behind the lines doing bombardment, so unfortunately he abandons Elvinia, if that's how you pronounce it. Not something I wanted to do, but I don't have a choice. More will stay here, keeping 1, 2, 3, 4 this guy in command. So looking at this, this potentially, if I'm doing my math right, let me just guess, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. That could be attacked. So what I'm going to do, and I think I worked this out before, I think that's 1. Then he goes into road march, 2, 3, and then 4. He drops out of road march. That costs 1. So hopefully that screens from a cavalry sweep. And then Bentwick can move here. And 1, 2, 3, 4. So the British have their line. Not quite sure what the rules are on this, but I'll get him out of harm's way. Okay, so there we go. I don't think... Oops, didn't know you could do that. Okay, I do not think... Yeah, this guy can do a further end run. He could. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But it's still possible now to fall back here. So that keeps them at bay, and they can't. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of road march. Yeah, so I don't think there's any way anybody can get him. And I've got a solid line over here. So, yeah, the British are presenting a solid line. They're falling back on their right and screening over here. So, I didn't even follow the sequence of play, but everybody was in command at the beginning. Everybody was within 4 or more. Now the problem, though, is this guy won't be next turn. 2, 3, 4. And this guy I definitely want to keep in command. I'm hoping I get an AR so I can... I don't know what to do with the overstacking. They're in the same division, though. But I think there's rules on that. Stacking. +1 extra combat unit of any type, if all from same division. Bingo. They're all in the same. They're 2. They're the 2nd division. And this is the 1st division. Well, that's why I can stack 3 there again. +1 extra combat unit, so I'm not breaking the stacking rules. And that's the 3rd division. They're good too. Okay. Alright, well, these two are in different divisions, I think. Yeah, that's the 1st and the 3rd. Interesting. And these are the reserves. Oh, the artillery and the reserves. Can't do that. They're not in the same division. So this guy has to move. So I think what he'll do is stack with more, just to make the... trying to keep those rules. Let me move this guy back. Okay. Oh, didn't work. Sorry, don't mean to bore you with me trying to get Vassal to work. There we go. Alright, so I think now I'm finally legal. These 3 are all in the same division, the 2nd. These are from the 1st, but Bentwick's over here now. And these are from the reserve. So that, and they're stacked with more, so I can go to 5. So everybody's legal. So the only thing I have to do now, let's look at make sure I did this right. We did the command movement segment, now we're in the combat phase. No line of sight, cavalry retreat, no cavalry, no artillery attack, no bombardment, no cavalry charge. So it's just this attack, and now I've just got to calculate the odds right. And what I'm not sure of is if 3, 7, 9 to 15, is that 1.5 to 1? Do you round down? So let me check that real quick. Alright, looks like here they even give an example. 15 SPs attacking 10 will be 1.5 to 1. Well, that's, wait. We've got the flip of that. That's not even 1.5 to 1. I think this is 1 to 2. Yep. So let's see. Where did my... there it is. That's 1 to 2. Okay, it would be 1.5, 1 to 1.5 if they had 10. But they don't have 10. They have 9. And it rounds down, so this is a 1 to 2 attack. So horror of horrors. An AR-3 would expose this guy, potentially. Wow. Alright, so, well, that's the best we can do here. That's a calculated risk. So, where is the dice roll? 3. Okay, that's a reasonable roll. That's shock. Okay, so we get to do shock combat. How do we do that? +1 for attacker if combat was 3 to 1. No, it definitely wasn't. Each player rolls 1d6 and add it to the highest AR. Okay, so if I look at this, the highest initiative, they've got 4 with Crawford, and they've got 4 with Arond. So it looks like it's an even, and it's all about the die roll. Okay, so let me make sure about that. Yep, they both got 4, so, and the town hex doesn't really give anything to a shock. So whoever rolls the highest die wins, it looks like. So let's pull up the shock table again, and we will roll for the attackers first on 1d6, and they get a not useful. 2 is a 0. That's flat. The French get, ouch, they get +2. So the defender is 6, the attacker is 4. AR. Okay, but they can do that. That's fine. That's okay for the British. It wasn't an AR-3. So they disengage and fall back 1. Okay, so not a bad result in the end for the British. Alright, so not much went on this turn, but it's a matter of getting the rules. Even with a small game like that, there's a lot to chew on here. So, yeah, there we go. So the British have maintained their line, extended their right flank, but the French still have plenty of time to push through. Okay, so I will show one other thing. Let me get that on the screen here real quick. Alright, I don't know if I'll keep doing this, but because it actually is rather intensive moving all these units at the moment, but here is the battle presented by Jan Tiller Wargame Design Studio, like I mentioned in the previous game. And I don't know what I'm doing, to be honest. I mean, I'm having these melee and column formation while these are in line. And I've taken more losses. I'm playing the French and letting the AI run the Brits here because the AI is not that good on the attack. So let's see if I can get this to work right. For whatever reason, I don't know. Here we go. Okay, that's what I wanted. So kind of similar. We've got the divisions here. The French have, and you can tell by the coloring, they have 3 divisions. This looks like I'll have to poke around here and find. There it is. So we got the 3rd division over here, and they're moving to engage here. And I'm kind of doing melees from column, which isn't a good idea. But I am pushing them back here, and you see skirmishers a lot. I shouldn't really have engaged in the center. It's too much orchards and woods. I should have, followed the game. I mean, this works. There's the town here. So this attack works, and this attack works. I shouldn't have engaged here, but you also see, similar to what we see in the other game, I've got the Dragoons here. This is 4th Division Dragoons, which we have in the other game, and I'm using them to attempt to, well, in a limited way, I think, sweep around and try and get behind the British, if possible. We'll see next turn if that can happen. But we also see there's another unit here that's basically checking the British flank here too. So a little more involved here than the other game, but I will try and keep playing this, although I am not as proficient with this yet, Napoleonic battles, and at this point I've taken way too many, let's see here. Yeah, I've taken way too many casualties, well, 600 to 300, and that may be because I'm overly aggressive with the melees, so. But the main focus is going to be here, so I think I'll end the recording here. Thanks for listening. This is interesting, and I'm getting a better understanding of the rules too, so it's a good thing. So come back next time, and we'll see what Soult does next in the rain. Thanks for listening.